Welcome to Rebel Watch, an all-Star Wars podcast.
Hey, what are you trying to push on us?
Perhaps you think you're being treated unfairly.
All right, well, we're recording.
Yeah.
We're live. When we say we're live, we're not even joking.
It's never a joke.
It's definitely not a joke.
Bill
now.
O'Reilly established that.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
Screw it. We'll do it live.
Yep.
It's a PG-13 podcast, so I actually can't, read his quote verbatim, but something like that.
Yeah, something. Oh, man.
Oh, I thought we were starting the show. Are we not?
I didn't know.
I wanted the Bill O'Reilly joke to...
You did? That was actually great.
Yeah, I mean, why can't that just be the beginning?
Sure it is. All right.
I think it is.
Good thing you know what we're talking about today.
Well, yeah. We're definitely winging it because, I'm just kidding. Star Wars news is a little slow, it feels. Last time we just talked about how many updates there were, and now it feels like everyone's just grasping for straws.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
That's what's happening.
Well, we are too. So, but we don't, we let people know that we're grasping for straws.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right? We're not, sugarcoating this.
No.
So
I don't think so.
I don't know. So anyways, welcome to Rebel Watch.
Yeah.
We are, we're back another week here, and we actually have some catch up. We got some work to do.
A lot of catch up as we had a moment where we realized we had some voicemails we never responded to or played. So yeah, I feel really bad about that. So we're terrible, but we're gonna make up for it.
We are, and actually, we technically right now we are live, and we are we have a one of our buddies here, Jory Webb is listening to us live, which is great.
Yeah,
kind
absolutely.
Of,
he's heard a lot.
He's heard a lot, man. With the setup, how long have we been setting up here? 2 hours?
Feels like it. Got some nice, pitting out going on, so it feels like it's been a couple hours.
Right. So, anyways, we got some cool new stuff we're working on, and we're trying to get a couple things, up and running here. It feels like we're on the Falcon, always just tweaking. We're always just modifying on the fly.
The hyperdrive just goes.
It's always going to
always
crap, isn't it?
But you know what? You made a joke earlier because we were talking about doing the live. We got a sweet, split screenshot right now, and you're like, remember the days where there were Sith plots everywhere and the equipment was crap, and we gave a really evil Dr. Evil laugh, like it was from the gut, like ha ha ha, like we're so much better than we were. Yeah. And I was really just expecting to come down and everything was just like on fire and my house just burned down.
Dude, do you remember those days though? We had we had an iPhone plugged in. We had so many different connectors.
It was pretty ingenious though.
I don't know, like 15 things going into an iPhone. No wonder we had so many issues when we did.
We didn't for a while until I'm pretty sure Apple got a hold of the rig that I had made up from the mixer to the phone. We had a rig.
You had figured out a bypass.
Yeah, and they didn't like that. They're like, oh, you're not using an Apple mixer? Well, you don't make one.
Right. We didn't get our $36 from this guy for some piece of equipment we didn't make yet.
Sorry. But yeah, so then they, put an app or an update on the iPhone, and then that was gone. So then we're like, okay, now we have to invest thousands of dollars in equipment.
Yeah.
So that sucked.
And we did.
So we're still using it.
Anyways, we're gonna keep using it. That's sort of the point.
Yeah.
So what we got going on today, man? What's happening?
Well, we do have some HoloNet. As much as I joked about, people grasping for straws, there were some things that have happened since we last talked. One thing I thought was interesting, we talked a little bit about that. Well, we didn't go into detail about it because we didn't want to call anyone out. Really, I mean, we mentioned, the Chuck Wendig comments.
Yeah.
Comments, man, struggling there. It's the Christmas ale.
It is.
We mentioned, his kind of rant on Twitter, and he ended up calling out a Rebel Force Radio, mentioned him and tweeted back at him, and they had a little tiff going on. We didn't go into too much because we like both of them. We don't want to choose sides. Not that we have any sway with anybody, but
just a couple of smugglers over here. We're not
a couple of smugglers. We just put our ear to the ground and listen. But so it seems like all that came back to haunt him, and I mean he has a Vader line coming out, he was writing a 5-issue series for Vader, called Shadow of Vader. He already had 3 of the 5 issues done, I think, and Marvel just canned him.
Wow,
just canned him. They're not really, Marvel's not really saying why, but Chuck Wendig actually spoke out to this website called Polygon, and he said, I mean, it's a bummer. I wrote the hell out of a few scripts and outlined a few more, and the books had a few small to large touchstones to my novel series. He's talking about Aftermath. So he's saying that the comics that he wrote kind of tied in a little bit. And he says small to large, which now I want to know what he was tying in, because I actually appreciated his series. We actually really liked it. There was tons of excitement over the book at New York Comic Con, but Marvel has to do what Marvel has to do. Mostly, I think they put themselves in a bad position by the way they knocked me from the book in the first place, and I'm sad that this was continued fallout from that. Onward, I suppose, to bigger and better things. I don't know if it gets much bigger than Marvel, but hey, you know.
So wait, now, did they? You think this went down just because they didn't like the content, or they didn't like?
No, I think.
Does it have to do with him? I mean.
But I don't know.
I don't think they really care much about that. They want a good product, right? I mean,
and they let him write 3 novels. So I mean,
and he's a
decent storyteller,
right? Yeah,
and they liked him enough to give him his own comic.
He's been this way for.
He is
who he is, you know.
Yeah, he's been outlandish and kind of foul mouthed and rude a little bit for a while. They kind of knew what they were getting when they hired him, so it is surprising, especially since that was over a month. That was months ago. Yeah. So it's kind of odd. So maybe he's kind of been back at it, and we kind of just fell off of that for a bit. So maybe it got worse. I don't know, but it's strange. It's too bad. I actually really liked his storytelling in the Star Wars universe. I mean, he's a huge part of.
Now, is that indefinitely, or is that just I mean,
I don't know, because they haven't really come out and said much. So it's tough to tell if that's the relationship's just severed forever or not, but yeah, so that's interesting. So Disney's doing what Disney does.
Firing people.
I mean, that's what it's been lately. If you're not getting the job done, and maybe they're like, he's writing this and they didn't like it. Maybe that's what it is. That would make more sense, seeing this, how all of this seemed to have happened a while ago. It's just kind of odd. I don't know. I thought he's written so much of this new Star Wars history post Episode 6.
Yep, right.
So I mean, like, all these actual characters that we really enjoyed, who's going to write it now? I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
strange.
There it is. All right. Well, let us know what you think of that. I mean, he's. I just wonder if they could bring him back though.
Yeah.
But it seems like they definitely like let go of him, right? Is that what you're saying?
Why, that's what I'm like. Why in the middle of a writing?
Yeah, you shuffle him around. You say he's not working on this project anymore. He's working on something else.
Yeah,
But,
it's 5 issues and he was halfway done. Like, I kind of wanted to say let him finish it and then sever the relationship, but
okay.
What are you gonna do? So, thought that was kind of interesting. As there's also, this is everywhere on the internet. It's on every single.
Which means I have not heard it yet.
Heard it yet, and I make the sacrifice. I dig into these things so we aren't completely surprised, or if we're ever referenced in an article. I don't know why we would be, but I don't want us to miss that.
Right. Okay.
So this is all over the internet, and I literally laughed out loud reading it at work, not while working, but on a lunch break. So many people, I guess, the Star Wars show we really like. Yeah. Andy and friends. Yeah. I actually forget the gentleman's name. I'm blanking.
Why would you ask me a question? It's Andy and friends. The guy.
That works. The guy. That works. Apparently they were doing a segment and they were showing I want to call them relics, but they're props. Yeah. Props from episode 7 and episode 8. And one in particular they were looking at was Luke's, now Rey's severed lightsaber and the crystal in it. I guess they zoomed in really close on it, and everyone freaked out because people were noticing that the crystal was broken. And I laughed because everyone's just like, "Oh, what does this mean? Is Rey gonna have? She's gonna have to build her own lightsaber now, like this and that." And I'm like, didn't we all know this?
Yeah, yeah.
Did we just talked about it a couple weeks ago. Like we were talking about its implications and being gone and what she's gonna have to do now and how, if they could have done something really cool with the importance of the lightsaber and that, in episode 7 she saw, all these visions when she touched it,
yeah,
and nothing ever happened like that in 8, and it severed, and that was that. So we thought it would be cool if she, once the lightsaber was destroyed, just kind of panicked. It was just like, I need that. Or if she had more flashbacks with the saber in 8. So everyone's just like, oh, what does this mean? She's going to have to find her own crystal. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What?
Guys, yeah, right. And it is funny that you bring that up because we did. I mean, it's 2 episodes ago or last week where we said, we talked about repairing what was broken, you know, and it was a big segment. Yeah. Well, that's interesting. So you're saying, we should be on the Star Wars show talking about this kind of stuff.
I think we should be, or we should be a flagship podcast for Disney. But,
all right. Well, we'll toot
not.
our own horn. It's Anthony Carboni, by the way. Sorry. Totally forgot.
Did we? He's,
good guy.
I like him a lot more now than I used to.
Yeah.
Everyone hated him before, but
yeah. Right.
He's a likable guy.
He's all right. No, he's a good guy.
He's a good guy. He's a great guy.
They watch, so I want to make sure they know we love them.
Exactly.
So,
they're good friends of ours. Other things on the HoloNet is, is this a piece of news? I don't know, because it's a rumor.
Okay.
We're going to include it, though. Mm-hmm. Let's call it news. The news talks about rumors all the time, right?
Sure, yeah.
Doesn't actually have to be fact.
Is this fake news or what's going on here?
It didn't come from Fox.
Okay.
But it very well could be fake news.
Okay.
But there's just rumors from the Star Wars set. People are talking about some... we already know Luke Hamill's going to be in Episode 9, right? Confirmed.
Yeah.
Confirmed.
Yeah.
Everyone's suspecting he's going to come back as a Force ghost or something like that. That's what we thought. But apparently in filming, the rumor is that, and I don't know how people are making this statement, but they're saying, so it looks like some of the scenes, it's actually Luke, and there's no indication of a Force ghost glow. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
That's something they do like post-production,
yeah.
right? Like that's something they put in.
Wait.
It's not, someone's not glowing while they're filming it. So I found it odd that we're talking about that because no one knows. Yoda wasn't glowing. It was a puppet.
Right. Okay. Now hold on.
Come on.
What if though, does he look younger? Does he look, because that would be a dead giveaway.
Well, I'm going to coin a term here.
Okay, go ahead.
Beardgate.
Yeah, Beardgate. Okay.
Okay, I don't think anyone's used that. So if you have, I'm sorry, but I'm pretty sure we just came up with it.
Yeah.
So
yep.
Beardgate.
Okay.
Yeah. So there were some. Mark Hamill shaved that bad boy when they were going into production, but apparently he grew it back. Huh. So is he filming some scenes without a beard? Could be a flashback.
Wow.
Could be him as our Force ghost freshly shaven. I don't think
Obi-Wan wasn't.
So. Yeah. So apparently they don't have razors there, but I don't know. It could be a flashback, but I just found it odd that people were talking about this. Just like, of course, it doesn't look like he's a Force ghost. He's a human being, and they're filming him, and they're going to do something later to make it look like it. But what are they getting at? What are they seeing that makes them think that? Is it something, some way he's interacting with his environment or something like that? You know what I'm saying? Like wielding a lightsaber or something?
You would need more. We got to have more. I mean, if it's just him standing, if you're just going based off him standing somewhere, if he's not moving and he's just kind of standing there, probably a Force ghost, but
or a prop.
But if he's doing a lot of other different things, and it's action based and or if he looks younger and his apparel looks different. I mean, maybe. Okay. We've got a voicemail, I think, today that's going to talk a little bit about that. Yeah. So our good friend Lindsay Gadani brought up a couple things.
That's what prompted me to want to talk about it because she has some good insights, and I think it could very well tie into kind of this rumor, which could be fact. We won't know, but I would like to see a freshly shaven Luke Skywalker.
Me too.
Me as well. Nicely parted hair.
Yeah.
Maybe all black.
All black.
Why not ignite the green?
Right.
Oh
man.
Thanks. Steel.
Don't even get me started.
I know. But
all right. Well.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely some resistance stuff we need to get caught up on. But that's going to have to be another time.
Yeah, that will have to. We actually got a voicemail about that, and we'll still play it. But we need to get caught up on that. Mike's having some technical difficulties with the app.
Yeah.
So
it's an older voicemail but it still checks out.
It does. Yeah.
So don't be surprised if this gentleman says, hey, Resistance is coming out in a couple months. What are your guys' take on it? So just pretend like that didn't happen.
Yeah, right.
But,
no, we're just getting caught up on a few of them. So we definitely wanted to mention that before we played the voicemails.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And if we got anyone listening, I know we got Jory on there right now. Let us know if there's something else newsworthy that we should talk about. That's kind of just what I picked up this week.
Yeah. I did just do a quick little search, and I think this is kind of an obvious one, but Oscar Isaac kind of saying that things are pretty laid back in the in the shoot, right? So
and apparently the Fisher family, Carrie Fisher's family, her daughter Billie Lourd specifically said that like they really love what's going on in 9 with her involvement.
Really,
yeah. So
wait, you mean with Carrie's involvement,
involvement,
because she's still in it, Billie herself, right? I mean,
but they're very pleased with what they're doing with her, and Oscar Isaac said that as well. But he did say it's a little looser.
No way.
Yeah,
pleased as in how?
I don't know.
I mean,
like I said, I think it's gonna have a lot of weight to it. Not simply just because of her passing, but there's only so much they can do, and it has to be something with Ben and healing that relationship or giving him information that he wasn't aware of before. I feel like it's gotta be something big.
Yeah. You're
something
right.
they've got in their pocket that they didn't use, or they're gonna find a way to make something out of something they have from 7.
Wow.
It's from 7. It's not even from 8.
Right. Yeah.
It's footage from 7.
That's where we've been baffled by that, haven't we?
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, that's there. There's also we might talk about them later, but there's a bunch of new comics coming out in the next several months that are going to focus on your trilogy eras, and they're going to start with the prequels and start with Qui-Gon Jinn, and really delve into their history. Which I'm really excited about. We're probably going to need to talk about these in length at another time, but they're going to focus on each trilogy area and dig into these characters, which could be great. Could really tie
What's the format
in.
you said?
It's like they focus on the trilogies, so they'll do the prequels and then the originals, and then they're going to focus on the later trilogy.
In what, like a comic book?
Comic book,
Okay.
yeah. Each character is going to get their own issues.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's really cool. That came out several weeks ago. I had some of that information lined up for some talking points, but it's going to be too big. But there's some sweet art and covers for them right now that we can definitely talk about at another time. But something to look forward to for sure. But that,
awesome.
I think that's probably we'll just call that for the HoloNet.
For the HoloNet, yeah. Well, that's fine. There's some good stuff there. I mean, exciting things. We will kind of keep watching. I think one of the voicemails we want to listen to today. Are we about to start with pondering with Kenobi, or is it
probably should be?
Yeah, we might as well.
It's time. It's been a while.
Yeah, been a while since we've pondered with Kenobi. I do want to give a quick little. Let me see if I can go back here and find it. We are, in a full effort to just get back into the internets. I am all over Twitter. I've fixed a couple different things, so got things more integrated. Did you know you can integrate these things so it's easier just to kind of?
I don't even know what integration means. So no, I didn't.
Mike, we are the worst. Social media is just not our thing.
It's tough. I can barely keep my life together. So keeping up with social media is not my strong suit. But I have found, like you mentioned this earlier, we're linking our things up. It's easier to kind of just disseminate things like that. So.
Well, and we're going to prove that to you guys because we got a couple of different things that we were working on. So we have definitely reactivated, not reactivated, just sort of updated everything. So you can hit me up at Womprat_2 meters there. I've got a couple things posted. I have a way in which you guys can hop into the live, the live recording here and actually kind of influence the show. We're going to work on that more as we go. Like we said, we've got a couple listeners, so we're good. And then I did actually, we are looking, just news, tossing this out here for people, collaborations, my friend.
Yeah. That should have been on HoloNet, as you made some waves.
Yeah, I should have. Right. Well, we're coming right out of it, so that this will work. Basically, we just kind of we've got a couple different. I think we've got the Sci-Fi Shenanigans podcast, which we
Yes.
want to kind of collaborate with those guys. So,
What kind of sci-fi are they going to ask us?
dude, they have a
I mean, obviously Star Wars, but
right, but they've got their big three.
Okay.
You know, so
is
you got
E.T. one of them? Because I'm very strong.
wow.
In the E.T.
You're gonna
category.
have to bring this up with
Okay.
them because
I'm going to be prepared.
you will. I know you will. Their big three are Star Wars, Star Trek,
Okay.
and oh my gosh, is it Dune? No, not Dune. What is the other
Doom.
one? Doom.
Not the video game, right?
No. Oh my gosh, they're gonna kill me for not remembering this.
Well, we better brush up on whatever it
Yeah,
is.
it's a big fandom. It's got a kind of a cult following. What is it called? Oh my gosh, I'll think of it. I know I will here in just a second. But anyways, they those are the three. They cover three kind of big topics. And
Can I say I'm excited for the Star Trek? And I know we're going to have problems with this because I actually, you know what? When we post this, I'm probably going to put a link to a movie review that we did back in the old Let's Look It Up days.
Great.
Tom was with us.
Yeah.
At that point, Tom's still with us
in spirit.
in spirit
All the time.
He didn't go away.
Yeah.
He was he's still with us here physically.
Oh.
But we were reviewing the second Star Trek, the new second Star Trek film, the reboot. And I mean, I don't know how many times as you were cross-referencing material, Star Wars, Star Trek, I was losing it. It was so good.
But I think it was we were doing a Star Trek review, and I kept saying Star Wars, didn't I?
You did.
Yeah, well, and that's why. I mean, I have a Star Wars podcast, so
That's true.
I mean,
That's
like
true.
it's my, I'll go watch Star Trek, but you know, I mean,
you were the original Captain Kirk. But
yeah, isn't it great too? I love when I saw that Ezra Bridger was a character. I was kind of like, wait a second, first name Ezra, last name Kirk. I mean, we are literally. I mean, I'm set to go in sci-fi.
First name Michael. Where in I have no clue. Canterbury.
no
where?
idea.
Is there a English sci-fi? Cult following out there. I don't know.
There might be.
I don't know, but must be nice. Must be nice. But yeah, maybe we'll post that. But that's exciting. I'm excited to chat with those guys. We've talked on the interwebs with them, and I think you maybe talked a little more in person with them.
I knew I would think of it.
Never heard of it.
Firefly guys. Okay, that was the other one that Sci-Fi Shenanigans often talk about. So
well, I'm probably going to be doing a lot of Googling of that.
Yeah, you'll want to know a tidbit about it. I think
Firefly.
I've
never heard of it.
Yeah, but they're big Star Wars guys, and so they want to talk Star Wars with us, and so we'll do a little collaboration there. We've got a couple other folks lined up. Just we're working on the details before we confirm any of those things. But on Twitter we made some connections, and it was really cool. So I'm excited to kind of do that. You can also follow our main podcasting Twitter there at RW2187.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
All right.
Well, the pondering's kind of turned into something different, but I mean, we can get back into it.
Yeah.
Shall we?
We're now starting ponderings is what we're doing.
Ooh, yeah.
So that was kind of a follow up on that there. So what do we got, man? We've got
absolutely. We got Lindsay's voicemail. I think we should start with that.
Yes.
She made some really good points. We haven't heard from Lindsay in a while, so this is really good to hear from her. And we do want to apologize for you guys who have submitted voicemails and we haven't got to them. I mean, for the past couple months, that really is our bad. And we're going to make it up to you guys. We're definitely going to play these out, and we're going to talk about them.
Yeah.
So keep them coming. We really appreciate it. We appreciate the feedback. We appreciate the theories.
Absolutely.
And the love. We really love it, and we owe you guys now. And we're going to make it up to you. So
we do. We're bringing you new stuff.
We are. You know what I'm really loving is So this voicemail, setup we have. Lindsay left a voicemail, and it offers a transcript of what she said.
Yeah, I know.
The first sentence, hey guys, it's Lindsay and Daddy.
Right. And that's
so I'm interested right off the bat, but I'm assuming that isn't right.
Right.
But we'll go ahead and play that now.
Yeah. Hey guys, it's Lindsay and Daddy. It's been a little while since we chatted, but I love that you are already talking about some episode 9 theories. Really loved the last episode and your thoughts that Kylo might be like a double agent. I kind of got like a Severus Snape vibe from it, which I think would be really cool. My only question is, if that's the case, who do you think is the real villain of episode 9 and the new trilogy? Because if Kylo is going to be, good guy all along, we kind of need someone to root against. So I'm just curious who you think that would be. My other question is, in terms of Billy D. Williams coming back and Mark Hamill coming back, do you think that we're going to get to see the Kylo Ren mind probe like we did in Battlefront 2, where we can go into other people's memories and see how he's torturing them, and that could be how we get Lando and Luke back in Episode 9 without being some kind of Force ghost or flashback or just, Lando in the cockpit of the Falcon not doing anything. So those are just kind of my very early thoughts. Of course, I'm going to have more as we get more information, but would love to hear what you guys think. I'll talk to you soon.
Awesome.
Wow. Well, first of all, thanks again, Lindsay. We have, if you look back through, I was trying to figure out which episode that was, but we have her on, doing a little collaboration, and she's fantastic, super Star Wars savvy and knows quite a bit. And honestly, tough questions. I mean...
I'm hoping someone else is going to answer them.
Yeah, I was sitting there
I'm kidding.
Hope Mike's got something. No,
no, she brought up things that we had forgotten about. Battlefront.
Yeah,
I mean those clips from that game it could be really important. Maybe not so
was
much.
That Iden and Miko? Is that who it was?
Yeah,
she was kind of
because he was getting
tortured. He was getting tortured, and trying to find that just more information. Wanted more information on. Just past events, Iden and Luke and everything. Trying to figure out where he's at. So
that could, I mean, she brings up that's a great theory. Like that could be part of Ben's redemption too, if that's going to happen ultimately.
Well, and we were talking earlier just about the idea that if we did see a Luke Skywalker who wasn't in a Force Ghost form, where could you see that? Well, if you're going to see a flashback, you're going to see something, like that. Maybe it's not a flashback, but maybe it's Kylo Ren torturing, perhaps Lando. Yeah. And then we see Lando and Luke having a conversation. Yeah. Back in the day, and he's handing him Baby Rey, and saying, "Take her on the Falcon." Yeah. And you did set this up right where you set the situation up where, you made Han believe that Duquesne and the Irving boys, stole the Falcon, right? You set this up, right? Yeah. And he gives him Rey and takes him, and you know what I'm saying?
The big lie.
The big lie.
We're going to see something like that. JJ is going to do exactly what he did in Episode 7.
I think I might have just called it.
I think so.
Oh, and it's Luke having that conversation. He knows Lando. Lando owes him one. All right?
He does. He does.
They're not after you at all. They're after somebody called Skywalker,
Yeah, it could be. It could I could absolutely see it happening. We've seen him torturing people for information. We know it's canon. We've seen it on film. We've seen it in the game. We've never actually seen the vision, the mind.
Yeah. So what we saw in Battlefront 2, Lindsay's kind of saying, could we see that in Episode 9 on the big screen? Yeah, I think you could. I think that would be another way in which. You could kind of now how they did that, what that looked like would be interesting because it was very clever what Rian Johnson did with the Force connection and how they filmed that and how they set that up and did the audio. Absolutely, everything gets like a vacuum sucked out, and it was you felt like it was you were connected. Yeah. So they could do it. I don't know what it would seem like, but it would be this struggle. Kind of zoom in on Billy D's face and he's being tortured for more information. Not sure what it would be, but maybe he's obsessed now with figuring out who Rey is. Yeah, or finding her. That seems to be his new obsession.
So you're saying he doesn't actually know where she comes from?
I'm saying it was a total bluff.
That could be the big lie, though.
Well, he's just obsessed with her, and in trying to find her, and locate her. Maybe he comes across Lando, and she's somehow connected, or I don't know. We see him knowing a little bit more than he should. So
I also think it could be a tool for his redemption. I mean, he could see flashbacks of his father or his mother, and they were, doing something ultimately to protect him. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it was maybe some way being manipulated to say they were really trying to hurt you, or they were hiding things from you, and maybe he actually will see for himself that his family really did care about him. They weren't perfect. Yeah, but. And all of this is assuming that there's going to be some Well, at least in my assumption that there's going to be some redemption arc there, but
So if that's the case, that's what Lindsay's asking.
Yeah.
If he's redeemed already right now, who
Yeah.
is the villain?
yeah,
You know,
it has to be someone that we're aware of. It can't be someone just out of nowhere.
Yeah, unfortunately, if we, she's got a really good point because you'd have to almost drive back to who do we know, which would be Snoke,
yeah.
and you'd have to.
And we
kinda
don't
say,
know anything about him either.
Yeah, and we don't know if he actually could come back. If that was, it looks pretty dead.
Yeah.
People have been cut in half before and lived, but I don't think he made it. So
Vader.
yeah, I don't.
So it's almost cut
Darth
in half,
Maul.
pretty much. Maul.
Literally,
the
cut in
prime
half.
example would be Maul. Yeah.
But so I don't
Make it canon. Well, it already is canon. So
But
put
yeah,
it on
yeah,
film.
yeah,
Put it
yeah,
on
put
film.
it
Give him some robot legs.
Yeah. So what do you think? I mean, who could the villain be? It's not Hux.
It can't
He's
be.
not
He's
the
a
ultimate.
joke.
He's not the ultimate villain.
He's a joke now.
Um,
It would have to be Snoke.
it would almost also have to be like another threat showing up that would cause him maybe to be redeemed and come back to the light.
What we've been talking about.
The galaxy
for years.
needs him.
Yeah.
In some capacity. Because right now, here's my thing. I don't feel like he's the type of if you connect him back to like Jason Solo, who was trying to bring order, to the galaxy, right? And he's wanting to control things and rule, so that way everyone's safe, And he's trying to stop all this death. And he was sort of broken during the Yuuzhan Vong War, right? And so that's sort of what caused him to want to act this way. What is it that Ben Solo? Why did he turn to the dark side?
Yeah.
It seems his motivations seem different. It's because he was betrayed. It's because, he had a bad relationship with mom and dad.
Yeah.
Uncle Luke betrayed him. Snoke is turning him. What is it what is it that he wants?
Well, here's something.
He does say to Rey, join me, and
He does.
We could start kind of anew.
Well, when he confronts Luke, Luke's image.
Yeah,
At
Force
the end
proje-
of Last Jedi, his Force projection. It's important to him to defeat the Last Jedi. When I defeat you, I will have defeated the Last Jedi. It seems like there's purpose behind that statement of like, that was what I was attempting to fulfill. Why is it so important for him to end Luke? They already have control. I mean, he can come back and he could probably ruin it all, but it seems like that's the goal. And I'll throw my pondering in with here now. What I was thinking about, I mentioned this to you earlier this week. Like, could the Knights of Ren be out searching for Jedi to destroy them from the new order, new temple, whatever? I mean, we don't see them. That could be what they're doing. And tying it back into what I just said about Kylo, like that, maybe that's the goal. I don't know the reasoning behind it, but it seemed important for him when he said it. Like, I'll have killed the Last Jedi.
Yeah,
It'll be it.
Yeah. Now, okay. Well, what you just said ties into my pondering too.
Come on.
So
just
because here's where we're at. We have been kind of tackling some of this stuff in Legends around. Mike and I have been looking at the time period in Legends. Basically, Jason Solo's fall and on Luke, the fate of the Jedi, all that kind of stuff. And if you look at the Fate of the Jedi book, the first novel there, where Luke is exiled, one of the things they talk about with the Barrando sages is the idea that they're holed up down in the center of the planet because they're worried about a purge.
Yeah.
And they're worried that the Jedi were once purged themselves. So who would be there? It was so close to being, where information couldn't be passed on.
Yeah.
You got down to 2 Jedi who made it.
Yeah.
Well, and then, Luke Skywalker, Grand Master Luke Skywalker, tells them that's not true, actually. Yeah. There were more. And there were holocrons. There were other temples. The Force dwelled in these nexuses. Dagobah was one of those places. And so I think so what you're kind of talking about here is, and this is what I brought up last week. I love that we're talking episode 9 again. This is just fantastic because you think about where, because I posed the question. I think you said it best. Is this the first semester of the Jedi Temple, and like it all went to crap?
We're all
were there more graduating classes? Were there more people out there? Are there more Jedi Knight, or an older generation that maybe didn't go through a formal youngling training, you know, that were brought in. And so if that's the case, that's where your Kylo Ren, Knights of Ren, excuse me, come in, and they're on a mission hunting these guys down.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's so similar to what the Emperor did, but as much as Luke, you know, says he was going there to die and he had failed, I mean, he was preserving the Jedi texts. He was protecting them.
Yeah.
He was out capturing and collecting relics.
Right.
So
yes,
he was also seemingly preserving that knowledge as well, and that comes through when he threatens to burn the tree, and then he starts regretting it.
Yep.
So that's even before he had the little conversation with Yoda and kind of realized, you know, his failures. But I think he was not unknowingly doing it, but it's there.
Yeah, and so this is something we've talked about with The Last Jedi. We've talked about the idea that Luke Skywalker is doing this. It's a sacrifice he's actually making. It's not something that's like he needs to live, and he needs to live on and preserve this, whatever it is, you know. And he had to cut himself off from the Force, so they couldn't find him. Yeah. So other things could rise in his stead, actually. And I think it's like when Snoke says, great darkness, has risen, that great light will rise to meet it. Yeah. He always thought that was Skywalker, but Skywalker diminishes so that something else can rise. Yeah. And I think that's sort of the point. And then Yoda's saying that, we are what they grow beyond. Yep. It all fits in there, and that sort of theme. So I really see what Rian Johnson was trying to accomplish there. And I think where people get upset is, and I see it as, there's all this time that we don't know about, guys. Yeah. There's all this stuff that happened with Luke that we have no idea. Fill it in. In 1 year, many missions can take place. Things can happen. Lots of stories can be told during that time.
They absolutely could.
They may very well be told once Episode 9 is over. We were allowed to go fill in the gaps.
This movie could be just a movie of flashbacks.
Well,
Snoke, Luke.
Yeah,
Harrison Ford could even return.
Storytelling of some kind, yeah.
Yeah.
They've got to move. They can't get too caught up in that, though, can they? They've got to move.
Unless it's a two-parter.
Unless it's a two-parter, as we've said, yes. But they've got to keep driving on, and they've got to keep developing. Can't lose sight of Finn, and Rey. That's what
that's true.
We're getting too bogged down in, and this is, I think a younger generation that listens to us might say, guys, what about those characters? We don't really care. So what? Luke moved on. We have this cool Rey character and Finn and Poe, and so let's see what happens with them.
Well, I get it. So many people want all the cracks filled in the feature films, and it's not going to happen. But like you said, it gives opportunity for other material, other novels, comics, cartoons, anything. And it may not be all Luke's story, but it gives an opportunity to create other characters. And like you said, we could be losing sight of those characters, which I feel like happened a little bit in The Last Jedi, losing sight of Rey. Rey was so unused in that movie, I think. We needed more Rey, so it does need to be about them.
What's great is we forget that Luke is in a position, the same position Obi-Wan was in, and that, he's kind of exiled, and he's preserving something. He's there with some goal in mind, and he's had a great past. We actually got to see the best. We got to see his rise, to power, and then surely it continued on after that. We just don't know what took place, but now he's so when you look at episodes 4, 5, and 6, it's like Obi-Wan when he starts talking about the Clone Wars. He starts talking about these times.
Those are the dark times.
The dark times, yeah. And you're just like, whoa, this guy's been through something, man.
Just watch that.
Bushes of Love, man.
Well, the Bushes of Love, but what's the video they cut
Obi-Wan Remembers.
Obi-Wan Remembers.
Yeah, that's a great, fantastic.
Oh my God, that video
makes you cry.
It'll bring you to tears. So if you want to see flashbacks and the look in his eye, I mean, holy
but think
cow.
about that. Before we had the prequels, you just had to imagine who this guy was and his great, wanderings and maybe his missions and things that he accomplished. So that's what we're doing right now with Luke. And I'm okay with that. Let my mind wander into all sorts of different parts of the galaxy as to where he's gone, and we'll get to it eventually. So, but anyways, and real quick, just back to the sort of my connection to the Baron Doe and the idea that those sages, being so scared that they hid everything there on that planet, and they didn't spread their wealth. They didn't, Luke kind of says that because the Jedi were spread out and because they didn't congregate in one spot and hold all this information in one spot, they they passed it around. It was disseminated. It was out across the galaxy, and so that's what made it difficult. That's why you needed Inquisitors. That's why you needed different. It took Vader a while to kind of continue the purge and to get these. The rest of they got the Masters, but then you've got Kanan and Ezra and more Force sensitive coming to be, and so.
I'm so glad you brought up the Inquisitors because that when I brought up my pondering just now, I didn't even really kind of flush out the idea, but you mentioned the Inquisitors, and that was my thought with the Knights of Ren, because remember in The Force Awakens, Ben or Kylo says, I'll finish what you started, grandfather, and it was that the literal purge of the Jedi. Were these Knights of Ren his Inquisitors? Yeah. And he's just filling in his grandfather's shoes. Like, it could just be that simple.
He's finishing what he started.
And that was Darth Vader's role for a very good chunk of his time. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. I thought
from my point of view, the Jedi are evil.
Exactly. I mean, he just So, man.
Well, then you are lost. But I don't know. Epic. Man, I don't know. Yeah, that's a good pondering. That's a good thought because, we got to look at his role, at his objectives, what he wants. What does he want? And when that's fulfilled, then what? You know what I mean? We always kind of see them working towards a goal and accomplishing something. Yeah. And now I got to ask the same thing about Rey. It's sort of like, what is it that she's trying to find her place in all of this? So she's a great hero of the Resistance, but what does she have to do? She's obviously not master quality. She's not even close. She still has to learn and grow. You have to have Luke around still. You have to have a master to, continue to teach and to guide. And then she has this ascension a lot like Luke had, where he just had a brief moment, a brief time with Obi-Wan, and then continued to be, taught by Obi-Wan. And what we have to see too between, 8 and 9, and we talked about this before we started, the idea that, between 4, 5, and 6, between each of those episodes, you had time. There were actually comics, Dark Horse comics back in the day where, we learned a lot about Luke and what happened in between, those times, and even an encounter with Vader, and different things. So he was growing and learning in the Force. The Force was his teacher. The Force is his ally. Obi-Wan is teaching him, and then also he's sent to Dagobah and continues from there. Even comes back to complete his training in 6. And no more retraining do you require. Yeah. Everything that you need. And that's such a great thing too, because it's probably different for different people. It just depends on what the Force has taught you. And also there's a foundation that you have everything you need. You need to just continue through meditation, through just persevering and continuing to grow. You're going to discover more. Yeah. Master Skywalker, the Grand Master in Legends, was always learning, always trying new Force techniques, and always, so it's not about how many of those you really know. It's mastering the Force and, becoming sort of in harmony with it.
Yeah, and I'm seeing a lot of that in, the Fate of the Jedi. And I got to ask, we were talking about the Baron Doe for a little bit and some of the techniques that Jason Solo learned from them. And now Luke is trying to retrace his footsteps, right? Yeah. And learn some of these things so he has an understanding of what went wrong. Right. When he's arrested. Yes. He has to figure this out. So my question is, though, is that technique that Luke learned in Legends, is that what we're seeing in The Last Jedi? Shutting himself off.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean...
Yeah,
canon.
My friend.
Let's go.
My friend, you're right.
These techniques are coming. I mean,
I know they are.
The Force projection, Legacy of the Force,
cutting yourself off.
Read them.
Yeah. What's a little different about the Luke cutting himself? He really severs all connection to it and doesn't even use the Force.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, Jason hid himself in the Force, type of thing.
Yeah.
But you're
Oh,
right.
that's true. That's true.
But no, it's the same. It's where do they get that idea from?
Yeah. Yeah.
There's some stuff in Legends. He just cut himself off from the Force. You know, I mean, that has happened.
Yeah.
And so fantastic. That's why I've never thought it was more important to go back and read those series and just to kind of think about what they could pull from. You know,
absolutely.
So.
We've got a couple people on YouTube that offered their thoughts when we were talking about episode 9 speculation. Mind if I read
absolutely.
We have Hawks Holocrons. We really enjoy this guy. He offers a lot of insight on some of our YouTube stuff. He says, I agree on the fact that we know all these things about Kylo Ren, Jedi Killer, but Rey easily handles him the first time. I need to see true power from Kylo, and I think this new direction they might take could be him embracing the Chosen One prophecy. Realizing, like, explicit, I gotta figure out this whole balance thing. Maybe embraces trying to balance both sides and realizes its true power. Which, I mean, he is dismissive of both sides, the Sith and the Jedi at the end of 8. But what do you think of that? Like, embracing this Chosen One prophecy, does Hawk here mean that he is the Chosen One, or that Anakin's he understands that Anakin was the Chosen One and he's stepping into his shoes?
See, and my response to that is how we don't know how much Luke shared with his following about Anakin.
Yeah,
and I think that is, if you don't know, if you don't share, Luke, this could be part of the problem, is that people then will hear about a prophecy, not realize that Anakin was believed to be the Chosen One, and because as far as they know, if they don't know that he's Darth Vader, he died. Emperor Palpatine proclaimed that, and so very secret as to who he is, So the galaxy doesn't quite understand that, and that's hard once they learn,
Thrawn knows it.
Right, and once they learn Leia's relationship, too, with her true father, it's sort of like, well, I mean, but, so it all gets kind of, muddled, and you don't really know whether, because they could misinterpret that. They could hear about this Chosen One prophecy and not even realize that maybe it was, according to George Lucas, was fulfilled. He is the Chosen One.
Yeah.
But and maybe things have shifted. Luke, as you said a couple episodes ago, kind of starting to believe that that Ben might be a Chosen One.
Yeah.
He says he's never seen that type of strength, that type of power before, and it
scared him.
It scared him.
He ran from it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
so what is that? I mean, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
For Luke Skywalker to say that, and so that's got to mean something. So when are we going to see? I love that question. When are we going to see that level of power?
Yeah.
And is this something where they keep explaining the idea that great darkness is rising, and that light will have to rise to balance itself out. Light is going to have to rise as well, and it's sort of a ingrained or what's the word? It's chosen. It's awoken in Rey, and so that's sort of the weird thing is that she's been thrust into this. Not even wasn't her choice. I mean, she doesn't. You know what I'm saying? Like, kind of. That's the big mystery to me. Is just like,
if it is a true balance, then Ben can't control it either.
Yeah. Well, or as he rises, so my thing is too is the dark side is choosing to rise, and so. Snoke gets him to work on the dark side of the Force, and then he continues to develop his skills. Well, the light side of the Force needs to, Luke's diminishing, so Rey is rising. But if it's true that Kylo's powers are going to continue to increase, and we're going to see more and more and more, hopefully more Force abilities and Force powers, Rey has to match that. And how does she do that? Are there things? This would be great. Anakin always used to say that they're holding me back. There's things they're not teaching me, and he was right. There were things that they
absolutely
they in time they pass on what they learned, but you got to go. You have to prove yourself. You've got to. It's a progression, and I think Luke might also be holding some things.
I mean,
100% think he could
absolutely,
because a lot of times in Legends it was all about you have this Force technique, but I have this one. You've got this, I've got that. We can combat each other. We can so.
Well, let me ask you this then too. Talking about Vader and not really knowing what people know in the galaxy. Think back to Bloodlines. if the galaxy was so aware that Anakin Skywalker returned and destroyed the Emperor, would Leia's, ancestry coming to light have been such a negative thing? They essentially cast her out after that,
Well, and they just know. I think it's just the association with Darth Vader.
Yeah, but he did terrible things, but he also, Luke is the hero, so is that something that they preserved? I mean, I don't think Luke would have selfishly preserved that information to be like, I'm the hero. I don't think that was it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like people just aren't aware.
Well, I think it's more too that she hid it, and doesn't.
True. What else? Yeah.
Because they just had the whole ceremony for Bail Organa, and that's not even her father. It's sort of
true. She had the opportunity, and she should have done it. And she admits that.
She didn't share it with Ben either,
yeah,
and so she regrets that.
That's true. That's true. So I thought that was interesting. Let me bring up the Chosen One. We haven't heard that in a while.
It's good.
And then Junebug, of course we got to bring Reylo back into the game. That has never gone away.
No,
even though it felt like they really shut that door in 8, but I can see maybe that it's still open. But she says Reylo should be in game. Junebug, I'm assuming it's she, but hey, Junebug, whoever you are. Reylo should be the end game, especially if there's going to be a time jump. They need to wrap up the series on a positive note, and the hints were there in episode 7 and 8.
Well, and back to what Lindsay Godotti was saying.
Yeah.
Who's the villain then? Is this just?
It's just the galaxy. It's just in a good place, and then that's it. That's the Star Wars saga.
Yeah,
or the Skywalker saga.
Like they're fighting, and then he gets beat, and he's like, "I love you." I mean, I don't know.
Everyone put down your weapons.
Because with the perfect when Snoke was still around, like with the way this worked out, like if he would have saved Rey and turned, that is when you could have done a whole Reylo situation, and essentially he did that. Yeah. He did save Rey.
He did.
He 100% saved her. She would have died. Okay, so let's be clear about that.
Yeah, he did.
Now, the only thing that I think would have happened, and I just love to have my own thoughts on this stuff, is that I believe Luke Skywalker was watching. Okay, I believe that he was ready to force project in that son of a gun. And
in the moment,
I think he was ready.
I want an alternate ending.
I think he was
Last Jedi alternate ending.
I literally think if Rey would have really been in peril, I think he would have found a way to force project himself in there. Absolutely, but he was monitoring the whole situation. He saw, because if Snoke can see the hearts and the force connection between those two, once Luke is back in it, he can as well. He's a grand master. He's
I'm only imagining Snoke's reaction to Luke appearing on his flagship.
Yeah. Could you imagine?
It can't be.
Yeah.
Force lightnings him nothing. And Luke just summons some power and just strikes him down.
Dude.
Give me an alternate ending.
Be crazy. Or even just that distraction to sort of wake up Rey, or to get her loose from his...
Good call.
You know what I mean? He's distracting Snoke.
But ultimately, we would have liked to have seen Snoke and Luke go at it, and Kylo and Rey go at it. Which we still could, because let's say, I don't know, maybe the dark side has a similar, you strike me down, I'll become more powerful than you can ever imagine.
Sure.
Maybe Snoke comes back, and we're just not aware. I mean, the Emperor came back.
Do you want to know here, one of the crazy... I know I said this before. One of the craziest things I ever heard was the idea that... everything from Snoke was not really real, that he was possessed, that being was possessed by whoever Snoke really is. He was just a vessel.
Interesting. Think it's the Palpatine
kind of thing, something like that, or like a holocron had possessed him. And there's actually still another, but it's just like there's not enough time to do that. There's not enough time to sell us on that type of enemy.
Why do I see it as? Well, this isn't a Harry Potter reference, so I'm okay with it. But like a Gollum, like the ring kind of diminished him and deteriorated him. I can see Snoke like literally physically deteriorating because of this. Because of
something inside of him, eating him. Yeah.
Been there.
Oh man. So anyways, I don't know. Those are some good thoughts. Anything else on the?
We can leave it those comments, or we can listen to a couple more.
The
voicemails. Open up these bad boys. Okay.
Who else we got here?
We'll go here. This is Rogue. I have no transcript, so
wait a second.
No idea what this call is.
Oh, is that which one you got here? Hold on.
The 18th.
Nope. Look down. You've got. It's only 3 seconds. Go to the.
Oh yeah, sorry. Oh, I see. The second.
Is that the one we want? Yeah. Let me just click on it real quick, buddy, before you.
These transcripts kill me.
Yeah, this will be good. This is fine.
The second.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you'll hear what I'm seeing. These transcripts. I kind of want to post the transcripts so people go, this is some weird stuff that we get here. I love your car that I actually found you guys because of Bush and Flick.
Dude.
They meant Swish and Flick, but and they don't love our car.
Gosh dang it, Google Translate. What's wrong with you?
I mean, close. It was a valiant effort. We'll go ahead and play this one for you guys.
Hey, Rebel Watch. I love your podcast. I actually found you guys because of Swish and Flick, which Harry Potter has my heart, so I will probably always love them best. But I really love your guys' podcast, and I really love that you changed my mind about The Last Jedi.
Let's go.
I didn't care for it when I first saw it, and when I rewatched it, I still didn't care for it. But then I listened to you guys talking about it, and then I rewatched it, and I liked it again. So
Awesome.
Thank you for changing my mind about The Last Jedi. And I just wanted to ask if Tiffany's ever going to come back and finish doing a journey through Star Wars, because I thought those episodes were really interesting and I was really enjoying those. So I was just wondering if you guys plan to continue doing that, either with her or with someone. But you guys are great. Love the show. And I look forward to hearing more. Thanks. Bye.
Wow.
Awesome.
Wowzers. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. We didn't get a name, I don't think, there, but
yeah,
but
we're
thank
gonna
you.
have
Big
to-
Harry Potter fan.
Yeah.
We'll call her Hermione.
Yeah, sure.
Is
Hermione.
that Harry Potter?
Yes, that is.
Okay.
Dude, that was totally guessed by you. You
No,
have no
absolutely.
idea.
It was absolutely a guess.
Mike has no idea. It's so funny.
Yeah.
He's literally a Star Wars guy through and through. That's all he knows, guys.
And E.T.
And E.T. but
Spoiler.
That's it. So, anyways, yeah, I first of all, persuasive, aren't we?
I think it's your eyes, but
Is that what it is?
It's definitely not the
It's
content.
an old Force technique.
I
All
mean,
right, the glare,
that's
the
legends.
flash. All right,
My friend, how can I learn it?
I'll
And
teach
can I
you
learn it in 3 days?
in time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect.
But yeah, we're persuading folks to go back and give The Last Jedi another
well, that's,
watch there.
and that's very open-ended. I mean, open-ended, open-minded of her too, because for how divisive the fandom has been, I mean, there are some people out there that are open-minded enough to say, "Hey, I'll listen to your thoughts." Yeah, but I mean, I don't know if I've really heard anyone saying, "You know what? I didn't really like it at first, but I do now." I've seen people be a little more critical of it that liked it in the beginning, like we did.
Well,
but
I think
this is different.
Things can grow on you. I mean, my thing is,
Yeah.
first of all, we love the fandom, so even stuff that doesn't really always sit well, I'm sort of like, let me try to find the stuff I do like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just last week, we said I brought up a couple grievances that I had with The Last Jedi, but then I try to rationalize and justify, those in my own mind and go from there. But yeah, glad we were able to, send a few people back anyways, or at least one to listen or to rewatch The Last Jedi. It's layered. It's got a lot of stuff in it. It's complex. It's different. It's risky. It's we'll see. I think really you have to, once this is all said and done, if there are things that they can pull from that episode, things that happen, conversations, some lines that they can tie into 9 and even tie back into 7, then awesome.
Yeah.
What didn't JJ say at one point that 9 is going to tie everything together? Didn't he go back and say prequels, original, and the sequels would all be tied up in one nice?
I think.
Thought he said that.
Somebody definitely said it.
Yeah, I can't remember who
don't
it
think
was.
that's just
a
our
big-
hopes and dreams, but that is.
That's a big.
But they
you
did
know.
it in the last. I mean, they referenced
Yeah.
Sidious in the Last Jedi, and
Maybe it was Last Jedi where they were talking about some of that.
yeah. I think they're really gonna try to pay some homage to the prequels, which that's what I'm saying. Bring in Hayden Christensen. Bring in someone. Bring in that story. Let's clear up the Darth Vader Anakin. issue with Ben and
Boy, could you imagine? There's the Force Ghost we all were wondering was going to happen.
Holy
in
cow.
8. Could it happen in 9?
Could it?
You know, yeah. Could we have that interaction between Darth Vader and Ben Solo,
I could.
or Anakin Skywalker, Ben Solo?
How emotional would it be to see, seeing a Force Ghost interaction with Anakin and like Yoda?
Wow.
Like
Because they've interacted before. I mean, if we could see that again,
that would
would
be
be
insane.
even a united front, them showing up together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Boy, that'd be something.
That'd be epic.
Yeah, I feel like what's great too is like Yoda connects to Luke because he's his master,
Mm-hmm.
but Luke can connect to Ben because of being a former master.
Mm-hmm.
Who else can connect to Ben besides maybe his father, his mother, and then his grandfather? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're not going to bring an Obi-Wan back or a Yoda to talk to him. Yoda can't. What's Yoda going to say to him that he's going to care about at all?
Like, who are you?
Yeah, he's going to be cool.
Yeah.
Move on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah, that's interesting to think about.
It's
So
an interesting one.
we have one more too on the June 21st there.
Yeah, let's go with our buddy Fulcrum.
Yeah.
This was the older one that we that totally got lost. So we apologize, Fulcrum.
But we're gonna play it.
We're gonna play it. I really wish we would got a little more distortion on his voice. Sounding just like Fulcrum from
Right.
Rebels.
Yeah.
That would have been sick. But maybe next time we'll go ahead and play that for you guys.
Hey, Rebel Watch, it's your buddy Fulcrum here. I left a message before, but that one was trash. Just leaving us here as you guys asked me to. You may have got my other one, but this one was on. You guys talked about a lot on the new Star Wars trilogy, but me and my buddies, and this has basically been out a while. I don't know if you heard it, but instead of the 1-2 parts, there would be 10 movies. That would just, it expands Star Wars so much, and it show that you don't need trilogies each time. But I think a trilogy is kind of dying out, and I think if they actually did 4 movies, that people would enjoy it, and I think it'd be totally fine. But, yeah, that's what I think on that matters. And then my other one is, what do you think of the TV series Resistance coming out? What do you think is going to happen? Where do you think these guys were during Crate, the Battle of Crate? And who is this young pilot that they're talking about that's going to be the Resistance main character? So just let me know what you guys think. Maybe talk about it for a few minutes on a podcast, whatever. Just talk about it, please, because no one's talked about Resistance at all. So yeah, may the Force be with you. Bye.
Fulcrum, including us, unfortunately.
Well, unfortunately, yeah, buddy. I mean,
we're going to. That's for sure.
Well, and I've been reading up on Resistance a little bit, and I just, I don't. No, I'm. It's sort of what happened with, when Rebels came out, I just waited a little bit, and this is my thing because I like to binge stuff, and so I waited, and I wanted to kind of get it all, and because then I was like, I bought it. And I knew there was going to be more than one season and stuff. And then once seasons 3 and 4 came out, I mean, we just took that episode by episode, talked about it, had some roundtable discussions, and it was, it was awesome. But I don't know, man. What are your thoughts?
I think these episodes are a little more binge worthy than Rebels, even unless we really start getting some juicy content. I'm way behind, but we are going to talk about it. It's definitely worth discussing. There's some good canon stuff in there. But like you said, we just need to get some episodes together and talk about them. So Fulcrum, we apologize for that. I'm sorry it's super late. But we're definitely we'll talk about those. We'll dedicate a whole episode to Resistance.
Yeah, we'll do a roundtable discussion.
Absolutely,
get caught up.
Get some other opinions. But what he mentioned about the multiple movies, I like that, and why I like it. He's on to something that, I mean, granted, remember this is a couple of months ago, but we have these, streaming shows now that are almost just this. 10 big episodes of something.
Mm-hmm.
So he was kind of onto something before these even announcements really came along. But what do you think about that? Are the trilogies of the old?
Maybe. Was he saying 10 movies from the time that like in the main saga, or was he saying 10 in the Star Wars saga. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. I was kind of picking up that maybe he was saying
Like 10 from the start
10
on,
movie like
from
so,
Rey on.
Well, that or
Oh.
maybe even like how the Game of Thrones guys are getting their own.
Yeah.
It's not even a trilogy. It's just a string of movies. We don't even know.
Right.
What if it was 10 movies?
I get you.
I mean, Harry Potter was how many movies? 8.
Yeah, 7, 8. Yeah.
So it could. I mean, that could be a whole new story, and it could. Like I get it. Trilogies. It's hard to get in. It's hard to really dig in 3 movies.
Yeah.
Especially if
to
you're
capture
gonna take
that
a
type
break.
of magic. Yeah. The original
that's a
cast.
Harry Potter
Well, the
reference
original cast
again.
always talks about catching magic, lightning. We'll just call it lightning.
Okay, I like
Lightning-
that better.
Lightning in a
Yeah,
bottle.
better.
The idea that what happened in 4, 5, and 6. Yeah, us catching that again is just not going to happen.
Yeah.
We want to come close, and we want to do everything that moves forward. We want it to do justice and feel close to that and expand it without doing it any disservice. But yeah. So I don't know. I like the idea of. We've been talking about a 2-parter for episode 9, which would be radical.
Yeah.
But
That'd be epic.
but I do think now, the more I've thought about this, I always kept thinking like, oh, episode 9, that'll be the end of the, that'll be the last episode. No, it's not the last episode. There's no way Disney bought this. Now George,
Everyone's
because I always
saying it.
think about that in terms of like when George had it. 9 would have been it for him.
Yeah.
Like he was willing. I mean, that's sort of, and he's even. You can tell he was willing to do it, and he had thought about doing it because he talks about where he thought Luke would go in exile. He talks about all those different things, what it would look like in his mind. He's talked about, the fact that he brings, Carrie Fisher and Mark Hamill and Harrison Ford together to say, do you guys want to do this? Would you be willing?
And
30
they were
years
obviously
later.
down.
Yeah, and he says it back when he first, between 4 and 5, he tells Mark Hamill, like, what do you think about 30 years later coming back and, filming the sequels?
Yeah. So
You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Yeah.
Such foresight. I don't know. It's just
So why is everyone? Why are they saying this is the end? Is it because people don't see this trilogy as being as liked as the other? As the original trilogy. They're saying we don't have any interest after this in these characters.
Yeah.
However this ends, why is every article I read, this is the end of the Skywalker saga. This is it.
Yeah.
So if it
'Cause
is,
they just don't see a way. Well, first of all, I don't see a way. I mean, I can think of a couple, but what are the ways in which the Skywalker line can continue?
yeah, they've kind of written themselves into a corner, haven't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where I think people are kind of like, well, this is it. Luke Skywalker is going to be in episode 9, and it ends. He'll see the end of Darth Vader's grandchild.
Wow.
And
Here's how you do it.
you,
Ben can remain a villain, but give him some children that
yeah,
turn or that aren't.
to the light.
Yeah.
That turn to the light or something. Yeah. I mean, what's he? Maybe does Rey turn to the dark side? We always keep talking about how Kylo is just gonna, at the end of this, do we see Rey turn? Because I think, as I had said before, if this is if episode 9 is closer to 3 than it is to 6, the idea is that you're gonna have 3 more, so Rey could turn to the dark side in episode 9.
That'd be so.
And then we could get her with him for a while.
Yeah.
Perhaps a child is born, and then she realizes this is not the life for, my children. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so the line continues, through.
Through
Leia.
I just don't. I don't see. It would be so uncharacteristic of her. It's just I just don't see it in her character. It's like she reminds me so much of Luke. I cannot see Luke going dark side.
Yeah.
Just
Oh, I know.
Just his personality on screen. I cannot see it happening, and that's
Just had to throw it out there.
no. But you're right. It's what do you do now? There's only so many things that you can do that make sense, and that's the thing. Is JJ going to do something so drastically different for the sake of continuing the story, and not wrapping it up? Because you made a great point. If George Lucas were still running the ship, he would have ended it at 9.
Yeah. Yeah.
No doubt. Disney has made so much money off of a few movies.
Yeah.
They're going to ride this out as long as possible. They'll
Yeah.
figure out a way.
Yeah.
There's going to be interest there. They just have to figure it out.
Yep, they do.
So give me 2 movies and then take a 10-year break.
What's mind-boggling to me, and I'll say it one more time,
Come on, let's go.
is that how did they not, like, who was not talking to Ryan Johnson? I mean, I'm starting to sound like, I don't think it's not his fault, but like, unless he just, because they've kiboshed other ideas and projects and said, no, that's not on point with what we want. You know, but he sold them on a vision, on a script, on all this stuff that is awesome. Everything's there. Unless there's something we're not seeing. Usually there is. And there probably will be. They're going to tell us later. Disney will fill us in. We like to go in, not knowing.
Yeah.
Where can it go? You know?
Yeah.
Is the tough part here for me. Even if Leia, Carrie Fisher hadn't have passed away, I still look at what they did in this movie and go, what? I understand the confrontation between mother and son.
Yeah, it's great.
And it being flip-flopped and that sort of thing, whatever, that's fine. But then, as Lindsay said, who's the villain then? And then who, if he turns back to the light, it's just sort of like he's fighting himself. I mean, he's, where's Rey and all of that? Is it really a story? Because remember, we always, to us, 4, 5, and 6 was a story about Luke Skywalker. Amen. And George said it's really a story about Darth Vader and Anakin Skywalker. You know what I'm saying? But so in the background, there's this, the story, the arc is the turning to the dark side, thing that he had in his mind. Well, and did he have that in his mind? I don't know. That's another talk. But
let me tell you how this is how it's going to go. Okay. In all seriousness, Ben will be redeemed.
Wow.
Rey and him will embrace.
Okay.
And in the distance, everyone pans and looks to the distance, and there's just an armada of Yuuzhan Vong ship just showing up.
Yeah.
And just a look of, oh, crap.
What do we do?
Goes black. The Skywalker saga will continue. Yeah.
Yeah, they have to continue
How do you get out of that pickle?
They have to continue it, so who knows? We'll see.
It's got to be something out of left field.
Yep. So...
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Interesting conversation.
I love all 3 voicemails were great.
Yes.
We really appreciate the love. We appreciate the theories.
Let me just toss out real quick to everyone.
Yeah.
You can actually leave us a voicemail at 614-547-2570. So that's 614-547-2570.
Do they get a tarot card reading with that?
There's a
call me for every reading.
If you stay on, if you press the special code, you'll be directed to Michael's personal cell phone.
That's right.
And
we call that Rebel Watch After Hours.
After Hours. That's right.
It sounded really good.
It did.
Yeah. No, this is a great format. I love that. We want to include people in the conversation. If we could trust people not to go crazy and swear, I'd love to have live calls.
We may eventually. Just kind of depends, if we get some, just depending on how we're looking at reformatting our Patreon and making, trying to beef up our Facebook a little bit because we'd like to have some group discussions in there, and so to change it to a group format. But we've got to. Get some feedback from listeners and just see what people really want. And, until that time, we just keep talking Star Wars. That's what we do. We just look up articles, talk it.
Yeah.
And we love it, man. I mean, this is what we do. We love Star Wars and we love speculating about Episode 9 and just we love the fandom.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I've been working on my 501st costume, my friend.
I need an update. I need a picture. It's gonna happen, and you're gonna join the Blizzard squad or Blizzard battalion or whatever it was, right?
Yeah.
I can't wait. Apparently they have a oh god, what's the ice creature? Why am I blanking?
Oh gosh, what did you ask me so quick?
Not the Wampa.
Not the Wampa?
The Wampa, yeah.
Wampa,
Why am I thinking?
Wampa's there, yeah.
Apparently that battalion has a Wampa in there.
Really?
How wicked. I'm
awesome.
picturing our friends from from Rebel Legion
Yeah.
with the Wookiee costume.
Right, Jamie.
Jamie has the stilts. I would only imagine that the
Her
Wampa
standing
would have
up,
stilts.
yeah.
Maybe that's her challenge.
Oh my gosh, that's her next costume.
She could join the 501st. I'm sure they would let her in there.
Right. Yeah. Oh, she is a part of it. She just has a different costume. Yeah.
Or is there a creatures battalion somewhere?
I don't know.
Just for the creatures.
Yeah. What's up with that? Right.
Well, let's pose a challenge to her.
Yeah.
The Wampa costume. I think that would be a good challenge because you're gonna need those stilts. She's already fluent in the stilting.
Yeah, she is.
So that I can't wait to see it.
I know.
I'm so excited. I have to figure out something as well. Something a little maybe
you do.
cheaper.
I tell you who you got to hit up is Brian,
Yes.
who in the Rebel Legion there is just a good guy. I mean, some great costume work from him. So. He looks solid.
He does.
These guys, if you get a chance, Celebration, 501st, Ohio Garrison, and Apollo Base, all those guys are going to be there. At Celebration, and it's going to be fantastic, man.
Well,
so
speaking of Celebration, as we're probably need to get a room at some point.
We need to book a hotel.
We need to book a hotel, or if someone's listening and you're like, I got an apartment in Chicago. As I actually have an employee that lives in Chicago. Unfortunately, it would be a very long train ride to the convention center from her apartment.
Yeah.
But if all else fails, she said we can crash there and take, a 3-hour train into the convention center. But we are going to be there.
Yeah.
We're going to be doing a lot of recording. We're going
to
to have people come chat with us. We're going to be
I think we're going to do a meet and greet, aren't we?
We're going to do a meet and greet.
Yeah.
We're going to do, whoever wants to greet us or meet us.
Yeah.
We would love
We're
that.
more interested in meeting you guys.
We actually are. And I think that's we never pride ourselves on being like professional podcasters or think that anyone would recognize us. We really love just going to Celebration and meeting people.
Yeah.
But
dude, the crazy thing was the last Celebration. Yeah, like we ran into 5 to 7 people who we were like, what? And like they just stopped us, and I was like, what?
And we panicked.
We just started. It was when we just started. Or whatever,
we panicked and then we froze.
It was great, but we've got some good podcasting buddies as well.
Yeah.
That we're gonna hit up there. So we got our 501st friends, other podcasting friends who will be there, and we're looking forward to doing some hopefully on-site collaborations. Maybe if we're spending the night, we might spend the night one night in the convention center.
Probably
I'm guessing we're going to. Yeah.
Is this equipment mobile? We'll have to figure that out.
We've got a mobile setup. Yeah.
We do.
Yeah.
We do.
So,
we do. We really do.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that. So, but anyways, yeah, guys, hit us up on Twitter at RW2187. You can find me also there at Womprat_2M. It's 2 meters. You can bullseye them.
Best name on
if
Twitter.
you want. It is actually. And then you can hit up Mike Red5_Son of Sith on Instagram there as well. And find us on Facebook. And as I said, we'd love to get some more likes on our Facebook page, and we would love to possibly start a group with some people who are. We don't need a lot of people, but I mean, if we had 5 to 10 people who are willing just to chat and help us develop the show a little bit more and get some more thoughts, it'd be great.
We have these conversations every night.
Because what's amazing is that you have people I read all the time on our YouTube as well, just like the different thoughts, man. Yeah. It just makes you think about things in a whole new way, because everyone has just a different idea, and it's so much fun just to think about ways in which this could go.
And just think about the discourse we have. That individual that left a voicemail completely changed their mind on The Last Jedi.
Yeah,
and sometimes that's what it takes. It takes listening to
people have changed my mind on The Last Jedi. Actually,
exactly.
So
we've become more critical of aspects of it as well. So you learn from each other, and you always have an open mind, and that's really what we do in every conversation we have with people. And what I really love, the best comment we got last week was someone saying, thanks for being Star Wars positive.
Yeah.
And as I've seen so many videos of these huge, Star Wars figures in the community that have their own, YouTube pages and stuff, and everyone's made this whole apology video for getting into the politics. We talked about the fandom divide, but we've never delved into it
for about 20 minutes.
I don't
think we even really touched any.
It's not worth our time. We enjoy too much talking about it. And those that want to talk about it with us, are welcome to
The
join.
story, man, the plot,
it's the story,
characters, the development, the theories. That's where it's at, you know.
Yeah, I actually had an employee at work that came in my office, and her name's Ruth, and she was like, "I'm gonna give Star Wars a shot." She's never seen an episode. She's like, "Where should I start?" And I always panic when people ask me that. Because I'm like, I could be, determining your Star Wars experience right now.
Right. Yeah.
And I was trying to think about, things she enjoyed her, and I was like, let's just start with one.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's just start with one. She's like, I got 20 minutes into it, and she's like, I was so lost. I was like, you really have to like the story.
Yeah.
Because in all of the movies, there's some cheesy stuff.
Right.
The quality isn't always the best, but it is that story. And you have to go into it with an open mind.
Yeah, yeah.
And I lost her. I lost her. She'll never return.
Oh my
but
gosh,
I tried,
guys. Hey.
I tried. I tried.
Oh, dude, how do you get her back, man? That's crazy.
I'm just like, oh my god, didn't make her watch Rogue One or something. I think she's lost.
I can't believe you just admitted to that. That's hilarious.
I did. She's like, I'll just stick with I'll not Need for Speed, but what are the Fast and the Furious movies?
Good.
I was like, all right, yeah, it's definitely not your thing, but
yeah.
So yeah, you really do have to go into it with an open mind. So
okay,
that's all I have to say about that.
Well, good try.
Yeah,
you know, I
really
do or do not. There is no try. So
yeah,
you did not is actually what we need to say. So
yeah, that's what you would say.
Yeah. All right. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Well, all right, guys. Hey, thanks for listening again. You know, this is we went a little long, but we had some stuff to catch up on, and so
was it that long though? Really?
I think it was actually.
Yeah.
It was a decent time.
Good.
We sort of get lost in the discussion, so lose track of time. But we love you guys. We appreciate all your support. And again, hit us up on all those social medias and leave some comments, and we'll definitely read them on the show and hit up voicemail. We're looking forward to playing those. I think every 2 to 3 podcasts, we are going to do like a flagship show where we kind of bring in all those comments, bring them together. So at least once a month, and then we have kind of our standalone discussions that are pretty direct on given topics. So, but all right, guys, thanks again, and as always, may the Force be with you.